I guess we could probably end on this. Derek Chauvin, a lot of talk on Twitter today that he might be pardoned. Should he be pardoned?
Absolutely.
What do you base that on?
He was basically following protocol, like what they showed in the training manuals, that they wouldn't let him submit in court. There was no way if the reason I would pardon him if I'm Trump is because he didn't get a fair trial, because he couldn't get a fair. That would be the reason, the legal reason. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but there's no way he could get a fair trial with everything that was going on. And George Floyd overdosed on fentanyl. That's why he died.
Well, Derek Chauvin, at the least, I think he deserves to get another trial, because it was impossible. They should have moved it out of state. It was impossible for him to get a fair trial in that state because it was so much media propaganda and all that around it. The thing with George Floyd, he did have a lethal amount of fentanyl in his system, but the coroner's report said that he died from asphyxiation due to his knee on his neck. Now, here's the thing. I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Is it possible to kill somebody, suffocate them by putting a knee on their neck? Yeah, but the way in which he was on his neck, that was not restricting him from breathing, in my opinion.
In jiu-jitsu, you realize how hard it is to
really
choke somebody out to the point that you kill them.
It's really hard. So George Floyd had pre-existing conditions. He had a bunch of fentanyl in his system. The least I think they should do is retry him and use coroners who are not from, they need to do an autopsy with an agency outside of, where was that at? Freaking, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
It might be too late to do an autopsy, but I do want to note the coroner said that he would have ruled it a drug overdose if he hadn't seen the video. So he ruled it asphyxiation not because of the autopsy, but because of the video that he saw.
But what you got to understand is when someone's high on dope, fentanyl, whatever, you have to make sure that the restriction of blood that the knee on the neck did cause, you have to make sure that that didn't aggravate an existing condition and kill him. So like when he's on the side of his neck, that's the carotid artery. You're cutting off blood flow to the brain, and you're basically backing up blood flow from the heart. So that could have made him have a heart attack and die, or made him have an aneurysm. We don't know. That's why I'm saying everything should have been done outside of that state. And you just got to accept the fact Minneapolis is a fucked up place with a bunch of liberal activists. They elected Walz, Tim Walz, a jerk. So they're all kind of like anti-cop. So yeah, retry the dude, lock his ass up in prison for life anyway.
Oh, come on, man. Putting aside the laws, what the laws say, you're contradicting yourself again, because you're saying the problem is we can't take out the trash. They'll put us in jail. Derek Chauvin took out the trash. They put him in jail, and you're glad about it because he's white.
I'm not glad about it.
He's white, and you said lock him up. You just said lock him up.
Oh, so now you don't want me to use race to determine the outcome like you do.
I just want you to be consistent.
You don't want me to let race influence my position, which is exactly what the you've done with your whole life for 10 years.
Well, no, if you want to admit that that's what you're doing.
I'm being you right now.
Okay.
And you don't like it.
Oh, no, I just think you're wrong. It's not a question of...
I just think you're Jewish, and I think you're doing like some self-hate shit right now. You look like a rabbi, dude. You got that shit bad.
All right, so in 2020, George Floyd dies and the whole country gets set on fire. What's the difference going to be if Derek Chauvin does get pardoned in terms of our culture's newfound attitudes on race? Feels like a lot has changed in 5 years.
Nah, we ain't letting them burn shit
much anymore.
We ain't not letting them burn down shit because they destroyed my family's business too. That pissed me off. But the thing I'll say about this is, do I think the world would be better if I had to choose one person to keep in the world, George Floyd or Derek Chauvin? I would choose Derek Chauvin. I mean, he's a cop. He's capable of doing more good than George Floyd. George Floyd was just a junkie who held a baby to a woman, held a gun to a pregnant woman, and he's just a bum.
He did porn. He did porn.
He did porn.
A lot of people don't know that.
He's one of your heroes. I did know that.
I've never seen his work, but
But the thing is, George Floyd was just somebody, in my opinion, who life or death really wasn't contributing anything to the society. Derek Chauvin might rescue a cat from a tree or something, or save a little kid's life. So yeah, I think he got a raw deal, but I just think you chose to be a cop in this liberal shithole. You kind of know how things are going to go, because you're in a city where people are screaming defund the police. I'm going to just be like, look, let him do whatever he wants, because I'm not losing my job over this shit.
I mean, it feels like everybody was so scared of the activists and the looters and the protesters, et cetera, that they just kind of ceded their cities to these people. Now it feels like the other side is so emboldened that you would have like really like an almost all out war in these cities if you were to have like something similar to the 2020 protest.
You need the Proud Boys, man. I like the Proud Boys. I support them.
But it's going to be way bigger than just the Proud Boys. It's going to be so many people who are going to be going to war with anybody who's trying to burn down buildings.
Now they know people will fight back.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see it. Like you'll have some unrest, but it's not going to be anything like what we saw. The Antifa is pretty much gone. The left is just tired. I don't think they have it in them anymore. They're not. No one's going to give another like $18 billion to Black Lives Matter. If
90 million.
Whatever it was. Yeah, it wasn't 18 billion, but whatever it was. If they go to riot, they're not getting a bunch of money. So the incentives are gone. The energy's gone. It didn't do anything the first time.
I mean, Trump's done some pretty wild stuff even over the past couple of months. And like, what is the left's reaction been? Like almost nothing.
No, because they secretly know that they're going to benefit from it. That's what it is. It's like we have to pretend like we're against it just so we could keep what we have left of our base. But ultimately, do you think that a bunch of liberal politicians then go run and buy the Magnificent Seven stock and all that stuff? Dude, yeah, they did. They like, this shit gonna work. Let me get rich while I talk shit about it on this side. They're really good at that. So Trump is a benefit for everybody. And even liberals know that. That's why they're putting up this half-hearted effort to fight him. Oh, they're like throwing punches like the, they know, even Democrats admitted that like the tariffs, Biden kept many of the Trump tariffs and placed more tariffs in. So what does that tell you? He deep down knows like this has to happen, but they have to act like they're not cool with it. You know how it is. But I think we're done here.
Yeah. Anything else that we should cover? Anything else burning in your frontal lobe?
What's your last meal? If you were going to die tomorrow, if I was going to jump on this table and kill you, what would your meal be for your last meal?
My last meal probably was just like a good steak and potato.
I thought you were going to say like potato salad with raisins in it.
I like potato salad, but not with raisins.
I never had that.
That's like really white food or something.
Do you eat
Like a
soul food?
stereotypical white food.
Do you fuck with like soul food, like collard greens, cornbread, pork chops,
Yeah, cornbread, pork chops. Not like a lot, but yeah.
Oxtails?
I like jerk chicken once in a while,
I don't know if I ever had collard greens. Maybe I'm just like not familiar with what they look like. Exactly.
I don't even like collard greens, but they're these green leaves. I don't like it, but I love oxtails, freaking dressing, all that. As you can see.
You ever had a potato pancake?
Hell yeah, okay. Fire with syrup. I put syrup on mine.
You're like, why am I supposed to be so enthused about this?
Because when you cook it and put meat in it,
you put meat on it or around it.
It tastes like meat.
Okay.
You put it in a pot, put some ham hocks in there, some onion. It's nice. It's very flavorful. I don't care for it too much, but black people swear by it.
Looks gross. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of nasty.
Try it.
Okay. Well, this was a fiery debate conversation. I mean, especially for two guys who are essentially on similar places on the political spectrum. You might not want to admit that, but you guys have probably more in common than you'd like. We brought up the Derek Chauvin thing. They're going to be on my ass for you being the black representation in this conversation, because it's supposed to be somebody who's supposed to stand on business for George Floyd, right?
Well, I stood on business for everything else.
Okay.
I feel like I made a serviceable argument. I didn't sit in here and get caught in freaking 100 contradictions. That's what pisses me off. Like, if you probably think that, but you can't identify a single one. But the argument I'm making is just true, man. Like, you can't be holding the keys and blaming people for where we're going. Like, dude, come on. You fucking controlling shit more than you want to admit.
I'm not going to repeat all my
zero accountability.
I could just repeat the same things I already said, but we heard them the first time. So
right.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, you guys. It was fun. It was good content. Do you like edit it down, or are you gonna like release the whole
raw?
Okay, good.
Let's see what Twitter thinks of this. Let's see everybody make their $20 a day off Twitter by clipping this up.
Yeah.
$20 a day.
Okay. Ian Miles Chong. Have fun. I can see it. Thank you to everybody who watched this. We'll link to you guys' Twitters or Instagrams or whatever in the description in case anybody wants to stay tapped in with you guys. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Lyndon. No Jumper. Coolest podcast. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all.